What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 18th of September, 2022. The month's going by, the year's going by, another crazy week has gone by. Of course, if you're only watching the mainstream media, the only thing going on is the Queen. But there's a lot more going on in the world. That's what I'm going to tell you about. As always, first link below will take you over to the Patreon post. That's where you can find all of this week's madness. We got plenty of it. Be advised. New Omicron subvariant detected in Austria, which sets new record in mutations. Oh no, there's another variant coming out. I'm sure they'll make a vaccine for that. Or will they, as the narrative falls apart? Anger at plans to roll back COVID vaccines to under 11s in England. People are actually mad because they're not going to be able to, XYZ. Let's see. Unreported Truth says, let me refresh this, Denmark ends COVID vaccinations for almost everyone under 50. Well, why would that be? Why? Come on, it's good for you, safe and effective. CDC admits post-vaccine myocarditis concerns that were labeled COVID misinformation are legit. Before the YouTube fact checkers take this video down, you might want to look into the research there. It is in fact true. You can read it on the CDC's website. Hundreds of excess deaths per week. Nobody knows why. Here's a little video for you. Let's see what she's talking about.
One of the largest Dutch newspapers reported that there are hundreds of excess deaths in the Netherlands, but that nobody knows why. Well, of course, everyone who hasn't been living under a rock knows exactly why, but it turns out, surprise, surprise, that the Dutch government is withholding the vaccination status of the people who died so that independent researchers can't officially confirm what we all know is going on.
There's one thing you can't deny. Is that people are dropping dead of unexpected reasons, and suddenly, check this out. Reporter breaks down in tears on live TV as she announces colleague's sudden death, September 10, 2022.
Before we leave you this morning, we have some sad news to share. This is our first morning back on the air after a member of the Global Regina team has passed away. Our Matthew Rodrigo Paul sadly died suddenly yesterday in his home in Regina.
Suddenly died. Nobody knows why. Unexpected deaths, blamed on a whole list of things other than what we all know is going on. 41-year-old Army Ranger who set fitness records dies suddenly of natural causes. He dies suddenly of natural causes. Maybe it was the air pollution. Air pollution could trigger irregular heartbeat in teenagers, putting them at risk of sudden death. Sudden death from breathing the air. Air pollution has always been bad for you. This is nothing new, but now apparently it can kill you suddenly. I'll put a link to it. Other news going on here. Scientists fear an emerging global epidemic of cancers in people under 50. September 11, 2022. Emerging global epidemic of cancers. I wonder what from. Put a link to that. In Joe Biden news this week, apparently this is United States America.
And there's simply no reason for it. This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
And cameras catch him pulling out a card when leaving his condolences for the Queen. Let's see here.
Am I able to write a message?
Am I able to write a message? Hang on, I got to write my pre-written script. And I got one in Vice President news this week. Look away now. Kamala Harris's model stepdaughter bears boobs on NYC runway. I didn't even know she had a stepdaughter, probably because I couldn't care less about Kamala Harris or her family. Kamala who? Over to financial news. How major U.S. stock indexes fared on the Friday. Let's see here. The Dow Jones fell 139 for the week, though. The Dow is down 1,329. Oh, no, goes the Dow. Put a link to the market recap data. Biden caves to rail unions, avoid catastrophic strike. Hands out immediate $11,000 bonuses, 24% rate. Now, this rail deal I don't think is set in stone. This is a tentative deal, but I'll put a link to this. What railroad strike could send food and prices soaring? I'll put a link to this. Again, I don't know that this is set in stone, so, this is a story you might want to pay attention to because you never know. The stage is being set for a massive global rice shortage. Oh, no, not the rice. Put a link to this. FedEx CEO says he expects the economy to enter worldwide recession. CNBC News is reporting. Put a link to that. Argentina to hike interest rates to 75% as inflation nears 100%. That from Yahoo News. In the United States, mortgage demand from home buyers falls 29% since last year as interest rates surge past 6%. That from CNBC. Biden to pay $80 per barrel to fill strategic oil reserve 2 years after Democrats blocked Trump from filling it for $24 a barrel. Okay, put a link to that. Speaking of that, illegal immigrants who entered the U.S. since Biden took office to cost taxpayers $20+ billion a year. Analysis says, put a link to that. Sparks fly after upstate New York taxpayers, ratepayers told to brace for high heating bills. Yeah, not just upstate New York. Wait till you see the dark winter that's approaching us now. I believe it's going to be a bad one. Here's why King Charles will not have to pay inheritance tax on $750 million property, because taxes are for the peasants. Put a link to that. And I got one at the bottom. Foreign leaders attending Queen Elizabeth's funeral to advise to fly a commercial and be bussed in groups. Can you imagine Joe Biden on the bus? You know, a lot of people are talking about how interesting it is that all these world leaders are going to be gathered together in this one place for the Queen's funeral or whatever. Reminiscent of like the movie 2012. I don't want to go all Planet X on you, but think of it's all a cover story to get the elites underground before some catastrophic event. I'm just saying, you know, I'm open-minded. Anyway, over to New World Order and police state news. This is where I stop and ask you, please share the video. There's a lot coming up people want to know about. Donald Trump's surprise visits to Washington, D.C. sparks arrest speculation. No, I think he was just there to play golf. Put a link to that. You know, those dangerous domestic terrorists are talking, though. Beware, feds are in threads. Act accordingly. Do not engage. Be advised. Feds are in the threads of all the forums and all the shit you hang out on. Be advised, you don't know who you're talking to. Put a link to that. Facebook spied on private messages of Americans who questioned the 2020 election. Oh no, it's Facebook. You wouldn't do that, would you? You know, don't assume that any message you send over the internet is private. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, email, whatever. Nothing's private, okay? It's all going through the New World Order pipeline. Assume someone's reading it somewhere. Artificial intelligence, if nothing else. President Biden calls half of Americans a violent threat to democracy again. Of course he does. January 6th, prisoners and families expose brutal truth about jail lockdown. Yeah, we're the terrorists. Okay. Executive order. Here we go. Talk about the New World Order, advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing innovation for a sustainable, safe, and secure American bioeconomy. This is straight from the White House website. Please give it a read. Gateway Pundit breaks it down for you. Biden's executive order designed to release transhumanist hell on America. Didn't we not talk about this stuff 10 plus years ago? It was just science, you know, it was crazy talk. Ron DeSantis, how do you like all the, oh look at this. Ron DeSantis sends planes of illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. How do you like all of this immigration stuff going on? I'll put a link to this. I think it's definitely, well, not in my backyard. George Carlin said it best when he talked about how people don't want it in their backyard. That's all that's going on here. Martha's Vineyard declares humanitarian crisis over influx of just 50 Venezuelan migrants. Put a link to this. I got more on this. Texas sends 2 busloads of migrants to Kamala Harris's house. Right on. Shout out to Texas. NYC, she doesn't want them in her backyard. NYC helping migrants who were bused from Texas relocate to other states. Not here in New York. No, you want to go live somewhere. And the White House press secretary seems to think that these people were all promised a home and a job. Listen to what she says here.
It is a cruel, inhumane way of treating people who are fleeing communism, people who are, and we're not just talking about people, we're talking about children, we're talking about families.
Listen to this.
Who are promised a home, promised a job, put on a bus, and, driven to a place that they do not know.
They were promised a home and promised a job, and they're being treated inhumanely because they're put on a bus and taken to an American city somewhere. And the whole crisis stems from the fact that our borders are open to, again, bring in the North American Union, the Security and Prosperity Partner. None of that shit's gone away. That's the ultimate end game here, but I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Anyway, over to World War III news. Russia targets Ukraine infrastructure, causing blackouts in eastern areas. I'll put a link to that. I got all kinds of stuff here. Apparently, there's been 5 rockets/missiles shot at a Russian stronghold. I'll put a link to this. Let's see. Russia units near Kherson negotiating surrender. Ukraine says surrender. All this talk of surrender. Meanwhile, this guy from Russia says the earth will burn and concrete will melt. Big World War III talk going on this week. I'll put a link to it. Ukraine has pulled off one of the greatest counterattacks in modern history. Military expert says Vladimir Putin has no good options. Russia invasion floors, blah, blah, blah. Apparently there's talk of Russia sacking top generals 16 days, but he's not happy with the way things are going, and there's talk that they want him out. We ask you to, now I believe this is, of course, American propaganda, but just to throw it in there, we ask you to relieve yourself of your post. Kremlin officials have begun mutiny against Vladimir Putin. I'm not sure that I believe that. Vladimir Putin's car attacked with bomb and assassination attempt? That's something the New World Order might try if they're not, if he's not following their rules. You know how they do things. Let's see. Germany tightens control over industry with Russian oil grab. Put a link to that from Bloomberg. Russia and China agree over new reality, says the Kremlin. That from RT. Here's one that will piss you off, and it should piss everyone off. Think about this for a minute. Especially all you FBI agents and all you people who think the Trump crowd are the real enemies. Army tells soldiers to go on food stamps to cope with inflation as U.S. sends $60 billion to Ukraine. And Americans are your enemy? Let me read that again. Army tells soldiers to go on food stamps to cope with inflation as U.S. ships $60 billion to Ukraine. Put a link to it. I got one more at the bottom. U.S. Navy quietly cancels vaccination requirement for SEALs. Oh no, why not? Safe and effective. Or is it that their whole bullshit's falling apart? Over to Earth Changes in 2012 news. Now I got the earthquake map set up for 6 points and above for the past week. We've only had 2. I think I got more alerts than that. I don't know. 6.5 on the 17th, 7.0 on the 14th. I'll put a link to the earthquake data if you want to check it out. There might be some more 6 points. I would double check that with another website because I know my thing went off several times this week. In Brazil, an invasion of crocodiles panics local people. Apparently, maybe they come ashore when there's about to be a huge earthquake or tsunami. Check out all the little baby crocodiles. They're not dead if you look at them. They are moving around. Baby crocodiles, do they sense something? I don't know. Back in America, Las Vegas Water Company files bankruptcy as Lake Mead straw runs dry. Straw. I love it. Put a link to it. Worst drought in living memory threatens the world's olive supply. Not the olive oil. Put a link to that. Here's one from August, but it applies to the upcoming winter, so it is updated link. Their Farmer's Almanac predicts unreasonably cold and snowy winter, so maybe that'll help the drought situation out west. I don't know. Be advised though, cold and snowy winter coming. Think if there's like energy blackouts and stuff like that. Dark winter. Scientists propose controversial plan to refreeze North and South poles by spraying sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. You mean like chemtrails? Put a link to that. That's from Sky News. Check it out. Oops, this interview didn't go right. This guy wants to blame global warming on man. Check out what this guy has to say here.
Well, climate has always been changing, but this has nothing to do with man. In fact, we predicted that there would be extreme heat in East Europe and Russia this summer. And
this has to do
it's
with the
caused by
patterns
a
of the sun
certain
and the moon.
circulation pattern. CO2 does not cause circulation patterns. What causes those is a combination of solar activity and the state of the phases of the moon.
Hang on, Piers, wait.
Hang on. No, this is all man-made. Come on, you're blowing our whole propaganda out of the water. Cracks are appearing in Earth's magnetic field as equinox approaches. Maybe that has something to do with global warming. Maybe mankind is causing the sun to mess up the Earth. Okay, let's see. Did you know that Nostradamus predicted the world will end this year? This come out August 23rd, 2022. Oh no. Here we go. This is, let's see, where did this happen at? This happened over Dublin. This is on the other side of the world here. We got comets flying through the sky. Some pretty cool video there. Back in America, Denver Ready apparently giving out free bug-out bags as part of National Preparedness Month. Free bug-out bags out in Denver. Did they know something's coming? I don't know. Stanford top scientist warns massive UFO alien disclosure is ahead. Whistleblowers ready to come. Hot green alien bitches! Over to strange and bizarre news. I got a lot of video to play for you. I'm just going to play little clips of it, and be advised, all kinds of madness. Okay, we're going to start down in Florida. Apparently, Fort Lauderdale Airport. There's madness going on. Apparently, people's flights are delayed. There's people throwing stuff and stomping the airport workers and all kinds of madness going on. Now, over here, I don't know where this boat is, but on the Love Boat, shit is going down on the Love Boat. Soon we'll be making another run. Check it out. Let me just fast forward just a minute. There's all kinds of madness going down on this boat. Apparently, people aren't happy on the cruise and everybody's stomping on each other. Just people everywhere going mad. Let's see here. Over in Providence, Rhode Island, it's always festive, looking to take the wife and kids. Just look at this. Look at this craziness. Where's Patrick Swayze when you need him? All you need is like the Jeff Haley band playing in the background behind some fence. Look at this. Look at, not the chair. I hit him with the bottle. Oh my Lord. What we do now? Put a link to that. It's nice to see people in the community come together for some exercise and recreation before heading off to work. Apparently the whole community got together and just beat the shit out of each other. Let's fast forward this. People are just pistol whipping people and just madness going on. I don't know where that's going on at somewhere. Over in the UK, you got this going on. Look at this. I stab you. I kill you going on over in the UK. Back in America, Arkansas dad 48 hospitalized after amputating his own leg in front of his 5-year-old daughter while proclaiming himself to be Satan and Jesus at the same time. Arrest along with wife who left her child. maybe it's the thing that they're putting in people's bodies. I don't know. Local man in rainbow wig working to restore Trump to President King of the United States has been arrested. Be advised, I'll put a link to that. Now, look at this. This is the most bizarre thing I've seen this week in a long time. Look at this. What happens when you spray yourself in the face with gasoline? Here, apparently, is a new driver, doesn't know what to do. The gas pump won't shut off. She's in a full-on panic. Just check it out.
Oh my God, what do I do?
What do I do? Her friend is just in the car laughing at her.
Nicole, you need to split that.
Why, you got this shit going on?
What do I do? It's not stopping. What do I do? Oh my God, what do I do?
People, this is not fake. This is real shit.
Nicole, you need to split that pin. What do I do? It's not stopping.
I'm just at a loss for words with that one. I've watched it 100 times. You got to pull it up and just let it replay and just think about it. I don't know. Speaking of cars, though, thieves steal catalytic converters from San Francisco Police Department vehicles. I wonder if that'll change the pursuit policy. Put a link to that. Lunatic progressive who turned San Francisco into fentanyl rage hellhole, now begging for ideas to save the city. But there's one ludicrous catch, reveals you can't arrest anyone. The same thing's going to happen in Illinois at the beginning of the year when they come up with this no bond policy or whatever it is. People just can't be arrested unless you're like wanted for like first-degree murder. And the Boston Marathon adds non-binary category to the 2023 race. What else is new? And I got one more at the bottom. Speaking of the Boston Marathon run, check it out. Have you seen this before? Transabled. People who actually identify as disabled purposefully mutilating their bodies to make themselves disabled. I'm not making this shit up. Google it. It's a real disorder. For all the news, please check my favorite videos. All kind of stuff over there. Shocking video shows moment, robbery victim, ran down suspect and getaway car ride on. Let's see. Good Samaritan stopped to help female cop being attacked by suspect. He really was going crazy on that cop. That's a crazy video. Message warning to America from underground. Oh, check. In fact, I'll link this one at the end of the video on the card. You want to listen to what the underground Christian church in Iran has to say about Biden's speech. Martha's Vineyard homeless shelter, they're having a panic over. Check out my favorites. Thank you to everybody continuing to post content, keeping everybody informed. Definitely some good stuff over there this week. I got some shout outs this week. Guy blocks farmer's gate, learns the hard way. Shout out to the farmer. Look, guy, get your little plastic car out of my way. I got shit to do today. Come on, get this shit out of my way. I'll put a link. Shout out to that farmer. Shout out to all of the people. I don't know what country this is, but shout out to all of the people who stopped this purse snatcher. Look at this. Guy snatches a purse. Car runs over him. He gets up, starts running away. He gets around the corner. People chasing him down. Shout out to everybody who helped retrieve this woman's purse. Okay, he comes around the corner here. It's like, oh my God, I just got hit by a car. And then watches some guy runs up and kicks him in the face. Watch this. This is crazy. I don't know where this happened at, but shout out to everybody involved. That's the way we need to do things. Shout out to ex-NYC Fire Captain tells the truth. Let me just play a little clip.
Okay, I gave my best years to this city. 20 years, from 21 to 41, and then they take it away at the peak of my earning career. I made it to captain. I went through that process. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Shout out to all the first responders who stood up and said, no, you're not doing this. And, you know, they're out of work, and it's not right. Shout out to everybody who stood up. And don't think we don't have your back. Shout out to Ron DeSantis and what he's talking about.
We rejected the elites, and we were right. They're now trying to rewrite history, acting like they wanted kids in school all along, and we shouldn't let them get away with that. But we should also point out, not only were they wrong about schools, the elites were wrong about lockdowns. They were wrong about epidemiological models and the hospitalization models. They were wrong about forced masking. They were wrong when they rejected the existence of natural immunity. They were wrong about the efficacy of the mRNA vaccines.
And they censored us the whole time. Shout out to, let's see, YouTube star pro boxer Jake Paul responds to Gateway Pundit's question about the free speech. Listen to what he has to say. He just went on a little tirade about free speech while they were giving him an interview here.
And the fact that these privately held companies can just take someone right off of their platform is fucked up. And the scary part about it is even speaking up against them, like I am currently doing, could get me censored. So we really don't have real, true freedom of speech anymore, which is scary.
Shout out to him for saying that. Shout out to Crazy Conspiracy Theory video from the 90s. Let me just play a little second of this for you.
The New World Order really consists of three aspects. There is a New World political system that everyone today is calling the New World Order.
From the 90s.
As well as that, there is an economic plan for the New World Order, and that is called the New World Economic Order.
You crazy New World Order. You don't know what you're talking. None of this is really happening. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. In fact, YouTube got rid of the thumbs down because they didn't like the truth on the White House YouTube channel, right? But you can still thumbs it down if you want. You're the only one that'll see the thumbs down, though. You can follow me on all my links below. You can support me on Patreon or directly with DonorBox. I put a lot into these reports. I'm staying up late here to give you the news on a Sunday morning because this is what we do. I just want to let you know there's other things going on besides the death of the Queen and all the worshiping that's going on. And I don't know about you, but and I understand, you know, this is an iffy topic because some people really worship the Queen and all that. Myself, having watched all of the crap, I just feel so much more disconnected from humanity when I look and see the worship that goes on. It blows my mind. I don't understand it. That's not me. That'll never be me. It's never been me. But whatever, you tell me your thoughts. You guys take care, stay safe, have a good rest of the weekend, have a good week. Thank you for hanging out with me for a few minutes on a Sunday. I love you very much. I will see you on the next one.